If you are feeling lost in a world where opinions can cancel you overnight, you are not alone. I used to scroll through Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, constantly anxious about what I said, who I offended, and how fast someone could decide I was a problem. Every like felt temporary. Every comment felt like a trap, and the worst part was that I started censoring myself before I even spoke. Then I discovered something that changed everything for me. It is not a social media hack. It is not a marketing trick. It is something far more personal, far more internal. I call it the semen retention aura. And it transformed my life in ways I never thought possible. Before I dive in, I want to invite you to join my Telegram channel. The link is in the description below. There, I share daily insights, exercises, and real-life examples of building a presence that cannot be shaken by trolls or cancel culture. It is a small community, but the support and energy are unmatched. Now, let me explain what I mean by the semen retention aura. At first, it sounds strange, almost mystical. Some people will roll their eyes. Others will immediately jump into the science behind it. But here is the truth. It is both practical and psychological. Retaining your sexual energy, choosing to consciously save it instead of dispersing it in fleeting habits, does something profound to your presence. It amplifies your energy, sharpens your focus, and gives you a sense of groundedness that no argument, criticism, or social media attack can easily shake. Think of it as an internal magnet. When your energy is contained and focused, people start noticing it. Not consciously at first, but subconsciously. Your confidence is no longer fake or forced. It is rooted in your ability to direct your energy toward creation, conversation, and self-improvement. You become someone who does not react out of fear. You respond out of strength. When I first started, I was skeptical. I did the typical mistake most people do. I equated retention with frustration. I thought it would make me angry or restless, but the opposite happened. I felt calmer. I could speak without hesitation. I could write without the constant fear of judgment. And slowly, people started reacting differently to me. I remember one day a friend messaged me, saying, "You are uncancellable." At first, I laughed. I thought it was a joke. How could anyone be uncancellable in today's world? But then I started noticing patterns. I could share strong opinions without trolls gaining traction. I could post content without overthinking every single word. People still disagreed with me, but the attacks felt empty. I was no longer feeding into them. My aura, my energy, my retention gave me immunity that I had never experienced before. Semen retention is not just about it is about discipline, about channeling your impulses into higher order goals. Every day, you wake up with a sense of authority over your own body and mind. You stop giving away pieces of yourself to distractions that do not serve you. That is power, and power is magnetic. You may be wondering if this works in the long term. I can tell you from personal experience, yes, I have maintained this practice for months, and the results are cumulative. At first, it was subtle. I noticed I could focus better at work, my sleep improved, and my conversations became sharper. Gradually, it started affecting my online presence. Comments that would have upset me in the past barely registered. Criticism became data, not emotional triggers. Here is a small secret that helped me even more. Alongside retention, I started journaling my energy. Every day, I wrote down my thoughts, my frustrations, and my victories. This amplified the effect because I was no longer suppressing my energy. I was directing it consciously, and as the energy became focused, my aura grew stronger. People instinctively respected it. I never asked for respect. It came naturally because I was grounded and unwavering. At this point, I want to gently remind you that if you find value in this content, you can support the channel using the thanks button. Every contribution, no matter how small, is appreciated. It helps me continue sharing insights that are hard to find elsewhere. Another important aspect of this practice is detachment from outcomes. When you retain your energy and focus on building your inner strength, you stop being desperate for approval. The need to be liked, followed, or validated by others diminishes. That is where true immunity to cancel culture comes from. You are no longer fragile because your worth is not tied to the external world. It is tied to your energy, your discipline, and your presence. Social media teaches us to react quickly. Every comment, demands a response. Every like is a metric of self. But with the semen retention aura, you learn patience. You learn to observe, not react. Your posts, your words, and your actions carry weight because they are measured, intentional, and powerful, and people sense that immediately. I also want to address a common misconception. Some people think this practice makes you cold or detached from human connection. That is not true. Retention does not make you distant. It makes you more authentic. You are no longer giving away energy to people who do not deserve it. Instead, you give it consciously to relationships, projects, and pursuits that truly matter. I noticed another unexpected effect. My intuition improved. I could sense when someone's energy was misaligned, when a conversation was futile, and when to step back. This is critical for avoiding online drama. Before retention, I would react impulsively to criticism or debate. Now, I observe, assess, and decide whether engagement is worth my energy. More often than not, it is not. That discernment is liberating. Let's talk about confidence. True confidence is different from arrogance. Confidence rooted in energy retention is invisible yet tangible. People feel Italiano, they respect it. Your words land harder, not because they are louder, but because they are carried by authority and calm. And the beauty is, the authority comes from within, not from external validation. The aura also protects your time. Once you stop scattering your energy, you start valuing every moment. You no longer binge endlessly, scroll endlessly, or engage in meaningless arguments online. Instead, you focus on growth, creation, and impact. That focus makes your presence stronger and your voice immune to fleeting outrage. This is where the magic happens. When you operate from this state, the internet, social media, and cancel culture lose their teeth. You can post bold content, share controversial opinions, and be unapologetically yourself. Yes, there will always be critics, but their criticism cannot destabilize you. You are anchored in your energy, your attention, and your aura. I remember the first time I realized I was truly uncancellable. I shared a polarizing opinion online, fully expecting backlash. The reactions came, but I felt nothing. No fear, no anxiety, no need to justify myself. I was grounded, and people around me noticed. My inbox filled with messages of respect rather than anger. That day, I knew the semen retention aura was real. I also want to emphasize that this is not a quick fix. It takes patience, discipline, and self-awareness. It requires you to confront your impulses, your fears, and your habits. But the payoff is monumental. You regain control over your energy, your mind, and your social presence. That is how you become truly uncancellable. Another small tip is to combine this practice with physical exercise and meditation. Your body becomes an additional channel for your energy, amplifying the aura further. Exercise grounds you. Meditation sharpens your focus. Together with retention, they create a synergy that transforms not just how people perceive you, but how you perceive yourself. Now, before I continue, if you have been finding this insight useful, contributing via the thanks button is a wonderful way to support this content. It is not about obligation. Every contribution, no matter the size, fuels more research, experiments, and sharing of ideas that can genuinely change lives. Your support matters. There is also a psychological side to this. Once you retain your energy and feel your aura, you stop caring about performative actions. You stop chasing validation. You stop worrying about cancel culture. You operate from a place of abundance. This is what people respond to instinctively. They sense stability, control, and authenticity. I also started noticing changes offline. Conversations that would have been awkward or intimidating became effortless. I could speak with authority without overcompensating. People listened. They respected. My social presence became magnetic. And ironically, this offline confidence translated back to online spaces, creating a loop that made me even more resilient. Semen retention also helps clarify your goals. Energy that would have been scattered is now directed toward purpose. Creativity increases. Productivity improves. And when you are productive and focused, criticism becomes irrelevant. You are too busy building, creating, and growing. That is the ultimate, uncancellable state. I want to close by sharing a final observation. The aura I speak of is not mystical. It is practical. It is real. It is a combination of discipline, energy, control, focus, and intention. It protects your mental space, enhances your presence, and creates a natural immunity to the volatility of public opinion. When you operate from this state, you are untouchable in ways the internet cannot fully comprehend. If you take anything from this video, let it be this: your energy is your currency. Spend it wisely. Retain it. Channel it. Build your aura, and watch as the world around you responds differently, respectfully, and without fear of your expression. Finally, if this message resonated with you, consider supporting the channel using the thanks button. Every contribution, no matter how small, is appreciated and goes a long way toward keeping these ideas alive. Your support means more than you know, and every single bit of it fuels a ripple of positive energy that reaches far beyond this screen. Remember, becoming uncancellable is not about arrogance or confrontation. It is about discipline, energy, and presence. The Semen retention aura is the tool, the mindset, and the shield, and it is available to anyone willing to take control of themselves and their energy. Harness it, protect it, grow it, and watch your life transform in ways you never imagined possible.